man, it's that time again. I don't know if I can do the enthusiastic what it do, but that's gonna be good enough. They all can't be
What
good.
it do?
God damn it. Some of us are really fucking tired and getting over sicknesses and have too much on their mind with new D&D stuff coming out. So that is our intro.
You're currently lubricating listening to the Party Gains Experience.
I mean, I really feel like we should be paying you instead of just naked photos of D'Hoffryn or D'Hoffryn's codpiece.
Ooh.
That's
on to D'Hoffryn's Codpiece Bar and Grill.
I mean,
Suspicious
that is
fish now on sale.
is that a good way to segue into to cryptocurrency or?
My cod piece is crypto.
Your cod piece is crypto because it's so icy. No, let's jump into it. Oh, by the way, we have special guest Matt and special guest our
D'Hoffryn.
co-host. That guest cut. God damn it.
I'm always special.
Oh yes, you are special. I remember when there was a kid on a bus. I used to have a friend who was paraplegic, and the kid told me his mom loved him because his bus had seatbelts, and ours didn't. And that sick burn, guy. I hope you're one of our viewers, and you're plotting on me or something like that. But that was a sick burn. No, I wanted to ask you, Matt. All right, let's jump right in. So I was talking to a friend of mine
today.
today.
And a woman love each other very much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was talking to Hobo Lindo today, and he was making a comment that he's actually going to bite the bullet and go buy a Blu-ray player because he's worried that Blu-ray is going to go away, that the company's going to stop making digital or physical copies of movies and stuff because they still make 4K, but they're not making what is it? They're not making DVDs anymore. There's a concern that DVDs won't be made anymore.
Well, small labels are still putting out. I'm sorry. Is this instantly launching into like expert?
Jump in.
That's why we got you here.
Yeah, so small labels are still putting DVDs out, just like it's become very popular to put out VHS for small label releases, little special VHSs again. I would say so. He's thinking about getting into just purchasing Blu-rays because he hasn't.
Well, it's funny because that kind of brings up a topic that we could discuss. That I think that all of us have a hand in the pot in the cookie jar. Is what is digital like? Is digital still prevalent or is physical still prevalent? Like, can they coexist equally, or can they coexist where 70-30? Or is one going to have to take over 100 and the other one's going to be a niche market? And you being the film industry, a lot more than D'Hoffryn Saturday Night Specials, what is your take on that?
Well, streaming, I wouldn't call it digital. I differentiate because, of course, DVDs and Blu-rays are digital. Streaming has already won. The majority of the households that are not necessarily enthusiasts, they're just like, I just want to put on something. I just want to put on some Hulu, want to put on some Netflix, want to see what programming has been spoon-fed to me. And that sounds judgmental because it is. But the film enthusiasts are still concerned that it's like, hold on. An example. Where did it go? This is a perfect example. So, not available for purchase, not available on any streaming sites. This is a little British film called With Nail and Eye. It is a little tiny little film. Just got it on Blu-ray. Got a Spanish import of it because I couldn't find it anywhere else. With English. It's not just in Spanish. It's English audio, Spanish subtitles, turn the subtitles off. But you can't find this film for love or money. And it's not offered. I'm not going to find it on a bunch of these places where I can find it. And I'd rather have it where, hey, my internet goes out or I'm in the middle of nowhere, which is actually a situation that I've been in quite a lot lately, is being in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and I want to watch something. So I bring a Blu-ray player and I'm sad.
I look at it like you can tell by my amalgamation of shit back here behind me. I'm a physical person, right? I like the physical games. I will wait, another year or 6 months or however long it takes for a physical game to come out versus, just buying the digital. Streaming, I love the idea of streaming. It's convenient as shit, but like, for example, the other day I just wanted to watch Dungeons & Dragons the movie. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, and we're back in action now with Three Amigos. But going back to the physical, I mean, I just like having the physical. I guess I'm becoming that old man, that waves at the kids getting off his lawn or pigeons or whatever. I like to have the physical copy. I like just having the DVD and go putting in the DVD player. I still buy retro gaming consoles. I still want to put the cartridge in the 64. I haven't pulled the trigger and bought like the Nintendo, the original Nintendo or Super Nintendo, but I like the convenience, but I also want to see the commentary. I want to see the special features. I want to know I have the DVD and now Blu-ray.
Yeah, and there are some really great, a lot of the Blu-rays that you get are going to be very stripped down. Like that one that I just showed you, it's the film and the trailer and that's it. But there's tons of really cool, like I suppose you would consider them like the Criterion collection of small labels. There's stuff like there's one called Vinegar Syndrome that does Blu-ray releases that's fantastic. I just got the Blu-ray release of Flash Gordon from Arrow, which Arrow is another small label. They're really great. Shout fat. I have both. Do I feel like taking them out from are we gonna delay it? No, we're not gonna delay it. Yes, we are going to delay it. Right next to each other on the shelf, I have the Arrow release of Flash Gordon. That's their little logo, the little multicolor down at the bottom, and then a little A. Okay. Flash Gordon, right on my shelf next to Flesh Gordon, the 1970s porn, which was released on Blu-ray. It's Hen's Tooth Video. Just got that one. Fantastic purchase.
Well, like you guys talk about, I went through a purge and I got rid of a bunch of my old DVDs. And back when they were really popular, that was one of the things that you got with it was commentary. One of my favorite movies, Not Another Teen Movie. And almost the entire cast, after they filmed it, they put the DVD together, they had them sit down and watch the movie, and they were talking about a bunch of shit going on behind the scenes during the movie. So you're watching it and you hear everybody talking about it, and it's hilarious. It's like new episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000, but it's the cast doing their own commentary about what's going on. And then there's old videos like The City of Lost Children was a fabulous movie, and I've been looking for it everywhere. I used to have it on DVD, and I'm sad that I got rid of it. But beautiful, beautiful movie. It has Ron Perlman in it. Chaz, you may know him as Hellboy.
Oh, I know Ron Perlman.
And it's also the director of Delicatessen and the fourth Alien movie.
Yeah.
So literally, I have the DVD because it has a different audio track in English than the Blu-ray did.
And that stuff, like, I'm sure I could go find it on YouTube, but commercials and the quality that you find on there is not the same as getting it on DVD. And I haven't found a streaming service that has all of the awesome old movies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That was kind of what I was telling him was, like you said, Matt, when you talk about streaming, it's going to be palatable for the masses. It's going to be something that everyone's going to like. So they're only going to focus all their, Bezos money and Netflix money and chilling money, whatever you call it, on, just churning out shit and just constantly keeping the shit, available, when we've all learned in the 35 viewers we have that watch our podcast, you're not here to get shoveled shit. We're giving you, honest feedback and honest opinions, and I want to see movies that maybe weren't palatable to the masses, like 13th Warrior. I know it's supposed to be a blockbuster. I know everyone's supposed to love it, but god damn it, no one loved it except for a small group of people. And I want to see the really bad animation of Dragonlance Autumn. What is it? The Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Yeah. But no streaming service has it. And yes, it's on YouTube. Like you said, it's for free on YouTube. Sure. I tell my
Dragons
accountant wife
of
that's not
Autumn
available
Twilight.
anywhere. What's that?
What is Dragons of Autumn Twilight?
Dragonlance. So in second edition,
Oh.
so you know Dragonlance, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they created in 2007. They created a movie by Lucy Lawless. Maybe you've heard of her. And Kiefer Sutherland is the main voice actor in that movie. He's I can always forget the wizard's name, but it's not the best animation. It's great voice acting, great story, but just subpar animation. But it's if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, which you know we are, you gotta own it. It has to be like the Dungeons and Dragons shit movie where the Beholder's in it for like 10 seconds and then that's it, and then the even shittier second version, which has like the cliche bard and shit like that, or cliche what was it, rogue. But fuck it, I have to watch it.
Yeah.
That also
Or
means
other-
if you're a video game fan, that you have to own Cloak and Dagger, X versus Sever, and The Wizard.
Yeah, it's funny is actually Ready Player One is actually now you have to own Ready Player One.
Really, because that was just such a terrible film.
It was.
All right, well, you all have a great night because apparently this podcast is over. 'Cause-
Yeah, I liked it the first time I saw it when it was called Willy Wonka.
Now, I won't go that far. It was a great book. And Chaz, who hates reading books and thinks that they're stupid, I told him that he has to read the book, and he's like, I absolutely not going to. And it goes so much more into depth, and it was really a great story. And yes, it's Willy Wonka-ish, but they bastardized it into a movie for the masses and made it popular for, and I hate to say this, popular for the dumb.
Yep, right
And-
here. Popular for the dumb, this
and-
guy right here.
And just nostalgic, they went out for like, how can we do something that the height of nostalgia when everybody's going back and wanting the 80s and retro that's all they did was just feed it in there. And it was not as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
It was a great idea for execution.
I can totally see that being a movie like that. Like, what's another great example of for the masses? It was really nerdy, but they made it to where everyone liked it. Oh, Marvel. Yeah. Like every Marvel movie. And now they're kind of getting into like the Moon Knight, and they're really kind of getting into, WandaVision, and they're starting to kind of go diverging into like the more sinister Egyptian gods, so on and so forth. And I'm wondering if the Southern Baptists are going to do it. They wouldn't watch Harry Potter. Are they going to watch, Moon Knight? But
Did you guys ever see, I think it was ahead of its curve. If it came out today, I think people would be really, really loving it. But did you guys ever see Legion?
yes,
Yes.
Love that show.
it was good.
I thought it was fantastic. And that comes from me, who's like, I'm like a maybe kind of on the scale of Marvel knowledge and fandom, I'm maybe like 50%.
Sure.
And this is, I'm not including the movies in that because I honestly, the last Marvel movie I saw was the first Doctor Strange, and then I just quit after that. Not because I hated it, just because I was done with it.
Yeah, it definitely got to the point where it was just saturation. It was saturated too much. It's like every year you have another one. It just, I kind of equate to like when you have a fan turned on, and the moment you turn the fan off, you can feel your skin kind of crawling because of you don't have the wind beating on your face stuff. You realize like after Marvel finally finished the Endgame, you're all like, okay, now what? Or maybe a better analogy would be in Cable Guy when Kyle Glass is actually, when the cable goes out, he picks up a book and starts reading the book. Is that better? Is that a better analogy for you?
I liked obviously I think everyone did it, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, yeah.
That was that was really good. It kind of seems like I haven't seen it. Sounds like they're riding its coattails with the multiverse of madness, possibly. I don't know, but
Well, they're actually coming out with another Spider-Man into the multiverse, like another animated Miles Morales movie.
Good. They
They're
need
coming out
to.
number
That
two.
was really good.
As
That's
long as
something that
Julian
they
the
need to-
Phantoms is done.
Shut up. I will get that show back.
Start the letter writing campaign, man. Go for it.
Well, we were kind of discussing ideas before the show. We kind of went into this. We kind of naturally got our way into from digital versus physical copies of movies and such, kind of going into NFTs and the validity of NFTs. And DeHoffman was kind of asking the question of, well, how do you purchase an NFT? Or no, not how you purchase, how you trade an NFT. And he doesn't see the value behind it. Like, you see Hulk behind me right here. What is your thought on, like, physical versus digital? Like, is it only pertain to movies and video games, you're physical guy, or do you have art? What is your take?
What, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
And
yeah. I have art. I have many pieces of art. They're just over there. I have an antique book collection. I literally take them down and go like, 1843, how to tan hides, and I just smell the pages and then flip through chapters. And yeah, I am a physical guy, but also, I'm kind of both. I cut my teeth in the early days of, Napster and peer-to-peer, and I have hard drives full of legal downloads.
You hear that, Lars?
And that I had, that are movies that, like, okay, well, I want to buy a DVD of, but because of the collector's market, this DVD is now $200, and I'm like, I appreciate the movie, but just put out a new version so I can contribute to the artist, and then I'll buy that new.
Yeah. No, I understand.
So with NFTs, how do you feel about those?
I don't know. I feel the same way as I do about a lot of, up and coming fads, or when the, video game collector market started really booming, which is, it's almost like a pyramid scheme. The people that are going to make their money are going to be the ones that get in the earliest, and you've already missed the boat because kids on TikTok and, and the crypto folks have already known about it for a long time. So it's going to be very difficult to make your money. If you had bought a Tesla Roadster, which was a remake of a was it Spider?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their first car, before they actually made the car, they used a chassis. And those first ones, at the time were like, oh my, it's $40,000. Well, now one of those cars will sell for $200,000. And if you had bought Tesla stock like those weird Silicon Valley guys did when it first came out, you'd be a billionaire. So if you get in early, great. But once it's in CNN, it's done for.
Right. But what I don't get, what I was telling Chaz earlier, was it's probably partly my hoarding tendencies that I have to have physical stuff, but it is a physical thing that brings me joy. Having my Dritz on a shelf that I can look at and appreciate is something tangible. Being able to have somebody come into my house and look at the stuff that I've collected and cared for makes sense. Having a little picture on my computer that I paid $20-something for just to have on the computer, to me sounds idiotic. And again, like I was asking Chaz, like, how do I make money? Why is it trading to somebody else and transferring? He explained it more like Bitcoins, which, sure, that makes sense. But still, again, trading, my Wonder Woman digital figure is cooler than your digital figure, so I'll trade you her for two of your other things. Sounds idiotic. And who's going to, in 20 years, want to buy somebody else's computer picture? I could just take a snapshot of my computer and have it.
But it's not the original file that's verified by blockchain.
Boom. No, I get what you're
Um,
saying.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like gold is meaningless. We are humans. Our very purpose is that we imbue things with belief and value, and it's just another system of that. And I really, you know, I understand them, but I'm with you. I don't understand them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be buying any.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, there's some people out there are going to be like, by the way, I got you this NFT for your birthday. Here you go. Emailed it to you. Bye. Like, that's going to be like buying somebody the lottery ticket, you know, gift.
Yeah.
My favorite is South Park post-COVID when Adult Butters is in the insane asylum and he escapes, and he was in there not because he was Professor Chaos, but because he's trying to get everybody to buy NFTs and sells them to people. And all of a sudden, after he talked him into it, they're like, "Oh my God, what have I done? I just bankrupted my whole family. For what?
Well,
Nothing."
That segued into the conversation of like with DeHoffrin there. He does like a big no-no with collectors. He takes them out of the box and puts them on the shelf, you know, where
That's why I buy two.
I love, oh, excuse me, Mr. Dritz Duerden. It's still one of my favorite videos we did of you unboxing Dritz where Mark is behind the camera just kind of going like, no, don't open it, leave it in the box. And you don't care.
I don't
You're
care.
cracking the box regardless what he says.
It brings me joy.
It's like he's rolling a joint out of a Black Lotus card. He's just, oh man, this is so good.
And it's just, it's
Oh,
so, go ahead, sorry.
So, side note, Black Lotus remind me of I was going to lunch with one of my friends, and I was sitting in the back seat, and there were a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards back there. And I got excited to look at them. It's like, oh yeah, those are my sons. And at first I was freaked out because they were really worn
Yeah.
down. But then I looked at it from a child's point of view, or a player's point of view, is those cards, yeah, they were worn, messed up, and bad, but they were played with love and enjoyment. And I can see in how damaged the cards were, how much joy somebody else had in those cards. So yeah, that one card that was worth $3,000 is now worthless, but it is not worthless to him because of what he did with it.
No.
And that's knowing half the battle.
Yeah, I just it's there's times when like everyone like in our world of collectibles, everyone thinks everything is collectible. Like Stan Lee's signature right here, right? Everyone thinks like people who don't know Stan Lee, they come in, they go, "Oh man, you got Stan Lee's, you know, signature. It's worth tons. You know, can you like sell it and get a new car, or whatever?" I was like, I don't think you understand how many signatures of his are out there. Like it's the market's not flooded. Noah is in that market, keeping, you know, two of every creature alive. In how flooded that market is, his signature doesn't add much value at all. You know, if it was a Kirby, it's a different story. But I think it's kind of interesting. Like, did we ever think in our lifetime? Because we all were born in the 80s and 70s, or I think all 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever think you're going to have a question of whether or not you're going to buy a physical movie ever again?
No.
No, but being a big sci-fi and futurism fan, and William Gibson and you know, earlier stuff, you know, the Matrix we thought was coming, where we would just have the world downloaded into our brain, and now, you know, Facebook is now trying to push the metaverse, and Oculus things are trying to push all their stuff. We're not at the point where technology can provide us with that seamless link up, so that our corpulent, disgusting flesh can die and rot in the real world while we float around a server.
I will only be okay with that.
But here's hoping.
I will only be okay with that as long as there's a fucking dolphin who's leading a resistance somewhere.
Yes, and Ice-T and Henry Rollins and Dolph Lundgren as a street preacher.
Absolutely. And isn't Ice-T the kangaroo people?
Yeah.
A different movie.
Oh, that's
Tank
right.
Girl.
That's Tank Girl. Sorry. I was thinking of Johnny Mnemonic. I thought he was a kangaroo guy in Johnny Mnemonic. My bad.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think both Ice-T and Iggy Pop are kangaroo people in that film. I could be wrong though.
Now,
Not Iggy Pop, but I thought it was.
I do love this new thing coming out where they say the most underrated science fiction movie that like accurately predicted and was written off as, you know, kind of cheesemo and stuff, but it's actually predicting the social climate we're in, you know, with politics and human rights, civil rights, and toxic masculinity, blah, blah, blah. It's a little movie in the 90s called Demolition Man. And I love that there's people out there now discussing how real that movie is and how they had it before anyone else did. And I think I think Sylvester Stallone does have his finger on the pulse and should make more movies about dystopian utopias and stuff like that. Would you like to weigh in on that? Or are you you want to get your sexual VR helmet out?
Sexual VR helmet.
Yeah, I would say so. That's the new startup. We need small investments of just $2 or $3 million per investor, and we'll be coming out with the sexual VR helmets. The first VR helmet specifically developed for sexual experiences, and it comes with accessories, and so will you. So come on down to Bob's VR Helmet Barn out on Route 47, right next to the old tire fire.
I really feel like if you make a check out to the Hoffer and make out to cash, he'll take whatever R&D money you want to send him. Papa needs Dred Stewart and life-size statue.
Yes.
But as far as the film coming out where it's just the latest thing that the internet goes, you know, oh, this accurately predicted the future. Well, all good fiction, all good sci-fi will not only be a reflection of the time that it was made in, and all fiction, of course, all fiction, but
sure,
specifically about sci-fi, because sci-fi so often deals with futurism, will always present some form that you can look back at and go, they really knew what they didn't. They were trying to make a fun movie, like, and I would argue in the modern era before Demolition Man, I would argue RoboCop.
The best thing that
corporations running everything. Sorry, go ahead.
The best thing that ever predicted the future was Futurama. If you watch that show and see how many things that they accurately predicted, high-def TVs weren't around before Futurama. They predicted that. They predicted the Baywatch movie that had Pamela Anderson in it. The only thing they did not get right was that she would win an Oscar for that movie. And by God, I think she was robbed. But there were thousands of things that if you watch that show, it's creepy how many things that they... But again, how many other things have they predicted that not? But you keep throwing stuff out there, eventually something's going to stick.
Well, and on a show especially, you have episode after episode after episode to make wacky jokes, which might actually turn out to be true in the future. Like The Simpsons. The joke is The Simpsons did it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before that, the joke in television 4 decades previously was Steve Allen did it. Because Steve Allen wrote 70 books and produced dozens and dozens and dozens of television shows. People would pitch stuff and they'd go like, Steve Allen did it.
I mean, I don't know. Science fiction now is no longer something I look at like as fiction. I just like Idiocracy. I look at those movies and I'm like, it's happening.
Idiocracy.
Hi, how's it going? I was in that movie. How are
Hey! Were you a prison guard?
No. In the place that you can see me, though, I'm in several scenes of the movie, and they 3D body scanned me to help make up the crowds at the end. But you can see me in one scene very clearly. It's the courtroom scene with Stephen Root. Though I was also background because they kept slashing the budgets. They kept having to reuse the face actors in the backgrounds. The courtroom scene. A very long-haired, totally unrecognizable version of me in that film. And my sister and several of my friends.
Now, who is the director of that again?
Well, that would have been Mike Judge from Beavis and Butthead and
That's
Office
right.
Space.
Now, do you have his autograph or anything? Like, did you like go up to him and like take some of his sweat off his forehead?
No, but I did steal. I have a bottle of Mach 5000 liquor, which from the set, and I used to have a poster. The poster's gone now, but it was one of the little posters that was on the set, showing one of the guys like drinking the malt beverage, and all the extras made off with like the shirts and the costumes, and but I made off with a Mach 500 liquor, and there's all these details on it that are wonderful that you just don't see in the film, of course. But then you get to look at them on the bottle, and it's like, oh, cool, this malt liquor has, like mostly corn syrup and amphetamines.
I'm kind of hoping that movie, before it came out, Costco was in talks of having someone sit at the door and say, "I love you, welcome to Costco, I love you," and then the movie comes out and like, scratch the idea, bad idea, get rid of it. Market Tessie was wrong.
I may be wrong on this, but I think I remember reading that they actually didn't seek out any permission to use any of that stuff in the film. They just did it.
Well, Mike Judge, I highly doubt Mike Judge asked anybody for permission, and just kind of, I really don't give a shit. I don't need money, I guess, or I just, whatever I touch is Midas touch is going to turn to gold. Someone out there's going to buy my Blu-ray. Someone's going to out there and buy my HD DVD. It's just going to happen, yeah.
That's a really fine example of the value of physical media. Office Space tanked because they didn't in theaters, because they didn't promote it, and it only became a hit on VHS and DVD and became a cult classic.
See, look at that. That's why I asked you, because you're the expert. You know things like that.
Yeah, but I can talk too long, and you should tell me to shut the hell up.
No, God, no. No, I like to cultivate your ideas like little babies, little naughty babies.
Why do you tell me to shut up and tell me I'm a dirty boy?
Dirty boy. Dirty boy.
All right, if you want to continue watching this podcast, you're going to need to deposit $5.99 to Hoffman's bank account. All right? Dred Stewart is not going to make himself appear in his household.
See the podcast, boys. Bear it all. Do you like glad bags filled with oatmeal? We're here for you.
That is a very accurate depiction of if we take our shirts off. Oh, except for the sexy biker down there.
This isn't just any biker shirt.
What is it?
See if you can see the back. See the back. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah, that's a Thunderbird.
Do you know what this jacket's from?
Nope.
A great, wonderful, underrated Disney movie that came out that I love. Onward.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of this, or at least I don't remember it.
The world of magic, elves and everything, they lost the need for magic because technology came around. And it's about a boy and his brother who find magic and found a spell to bring his dead father back to life for one day. And they have to go on an epic journey and bring back the old ways. It's awesome. I think it's Onward. I might have just misquoted myself.
It's Onward.
The old ways, lack of civil rights, rampant racism and sexism, or
old ways of D&D. D&D.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's I think the best part. I think the only reason why he likes it, and he can lie all he wants, but the fact that unicorns are like dirty trash pandas, and they lost like all their enchantment and magic and their whimsical side and stuff like that, and then there's a chimera or some kind of like sphinx in charge of a tavern.
Chimera. It's not a tavern. It's a pizza joint. It used to be a tavern.
Yeah. Okay.
It becomes a pizza.
Thanks for clarifying
house.
that. Disney, you're not a sponsor yet.
I was gonna say with that vest, you know what? I think you shouldn't have moved there, buddy. I think you should have. I think you guys should have moved to California and become one of the Disney gangs. Are you familiar with those guys?
No.
Okay, there's like gangs of folks that wear like jeans jacket patches and are all like gothed out and piercings and tattoos, sleeve tattoos, and they're like gangs of them just go to Disneyland to have a good time and bring good vibes from the alternative folks. They have full back patches like Mickey Mouse, like blood.
Yeah.
And yeah, go look up Disneyland gangs. It's a really great. It's a fun thing.
Sounds awesome, but I couldn't afford to do that.
Well, apparently, I guess there's some kind of like it's cheaper for locals, just like Orlando. Like you can get all the time passes. You don't have to. The yearly passes or something like that.
You think it's a good idea to goad him into going to California? We'll never hear from him again.
I ain't going to California. Those damn hippies. That's the reason I left Austin.
That's the reason.
All the Californiites were coming out of California and moving to Austin. It was just making it too crappy. My views do not necessarily represent all the views of Blood Oyster Cult.
I don't care. This channel.
Come at me.
This channel is if you've come here, folks. If you've come here for professionalism, quality remarks, and antics and shit like that, I'm sorry. I really am. We are three men who have nothing better to do on a Monday night than talk to each other and disguise this as social time. As a podcast, but yeah, no, you think whatever the hell you want. I don't care. But
all right, I got a question for you.
Oh, what do you got? Oh,
I got a question for both of you guys.
Here we go.
Let's look at video games and let's talk about what are you playing?
Oh shit! Look at this man right here. Look at his face.
So I can't answer that because I'm not playing, but Chaz has been playing something that I'm really excited about wanting to play, and I want to know his feedback on a new up-and-coming game.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Oh, I'm eager to hear about this. I've played every Borderlands game except for this one.
Okay, so I'm going to say right now, I definitely did like Borderlands. I have not bought the physical board game, Bunkers and Badasses. The tabletop role-playing game. I've got a bonus check coming pretty soon, and I've allocated money to buy Bunkers and Badasses. My favorite Borderlands is between 2 and 3. I think they both had their validity and stuff like that. Here, let's go with the pros. The voice acting is amazing. Wanda Sykes and what is his name? Andy Samberg.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing D&D with them, and you're kind of what's known as the Fate Maker, which is really kind of fun, play on words, stuff like that. And then the gorgeous, talented, funny, amazing person, Ashley Birch, is the voice actor for Tiny Tina.
I thought you were about to say Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart is definitely my number 2, but
with that lead in.
Yeah, I definitely wish I could have gone back in time and become her neighbor and be friends with her and stuff like that, because she's just a overall cool person. I like all her thing about her.
Oh my God, you weren't kidding. She's a gorgeous.
Yeah, I think she's just an all around good person. I really loved watching her Hey Ash What You Playing series. Comedy gold. I love that.
I actually didn't know that was a series when I asked you, what are you playing?
Oh. So when we talk about the game, I love that. I love the visuals. Every Borderlands game is stunning looking. The controls are very responsive. Everything's very good on that part. It does have a learning curve of like how you start to play, because you don't have grenades. You have a class ability. Now the class ability is different than the ones you're used to. Everything is centered around a gun in your old Borderlands one. This one is more geared towards spells and melee, but you still predominantly use guns. So your melee doesn't do nearly as much damage as your guns do, but your special ability does matter when it comes to like melee and stuff like that. They really have, again, the same problem they've had with all the other Borderlands of the really breakout roles. Like, this role is definitely OP, this role is definitely OP, and this one is just for people who have too much time on their hands and they need to beat the game for a 10th time with that one character. There's no grenades. You actually cast spells, and those spells are like the grenades were in the previous Borderlands. They can either support or they can just do massive amount of damage and how they do damage. If you are a TikTok person like myself and you hear that whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, where they grab the wand like thing and all right, well, for all you old people who don't know what that trend is, it's kind of funny. You cast a wand instead of throwing a grenade. So that's really cool. The skill trees have really come down a lot. Like, there's not a whole lot of fluff in the skill tree, which I really enjoyed. And you could dual class. So instead of having the 3 trees per class, you have the one class that goes down, and then you do a subclass. Like you multi-class into something else. That's really cool.
Huh.
The con. The biggest con of all. That game will cause seizures if you don't watch out. You start doing just shit tons of damage, and you're like, I hope I'm doing the max number I can. I think something's going on. I think I'm doing good, but the math is so hard to follow. You're like, sure. And the guns are really niche. Like, instead of an assault rifle, you're using assault crossbow. Like, okay. And then the reload time is really annoying. And then you have the same problem of, like, you start to really focus on that one type of gun. And then a real annoying part is when you make the perfect class and subclass, you wear armor that increases both of those classes. Sure hope you find the armor that's the 2 classes you're using. So I went Clawbringer and Stabomancer. Guess what never drops? Armor that buffs those 2. It's always the Berserker, because you're cold damage. The Berserker is cold damage based.
Like the Freezy lady from the prequel.
Yes, it's Burr, like BRRR, not like the Wall Street Bet subreddit, not a Burr thing. It's Berserker.
I heard rumors of a fabulous unicorn.
Oh Jesus!
Butt Stallion?
Christ. Butt
Is
Stallion.
Butt Stallion in this one?
Yep, she is the main character. Yeah. She's the main.
Oh.
The main. I always forget the name of. She's the queen, and I won't tell you anything that happens to her or something like that. But yes,
that's because
Diamond
in the whatever it is, the assault on Dungeon Keep or Dragon Keep. Yeah, she won the day.
Now this is another pro I gotta say. So you have the town.
They're coming for me.
I think that was that you, Chuck?
Yeah, I live right next to a hospital.
Ah, okay.
And a police station and a fire station, so I feel really safe.
I mean, you should.
Yeah.
In old Borderlands, it was really annoying to, like, when you traveled, you had to drive across the Borderlands, which got really kind of tedious after a while. You know, like you're level 100 and a level 5 shooting at you. You're like, why are you shooting at me? You know? In this one, you don't have that problem. You have a thing called Overland, which is your figurine. I'll use my little dragon turtle here. Your figurine just kind of marching along on a pseudo table, and you have like an oversized, exaggerated head with a smaller body. And you see kind of fun things like a Cheeto hitting on there, and she's like, is that Cheeto on the board? And she goes, no, it's a magical gate. And you have to go do a fetch quest to get rid of the Cheeto. If you have a random encounter that pops up, you can punch it, and it goes away. So you can kind of choose whether or not you want to engage in a random encounter. That is a breath of fresh air. I love that.
Yeah.
The other thing you're going to have to look for, and I don't know how well it's going to be received, the D&D aspect of it is not critical to the game. They just change the words. So instead of like when you die and you have to kill someone to come back to get a second chance, it's called death saving throw. So that's going to be alienating people who've never played 5th edition who don't have death saving throws. You do go looking for these random D20s around the world, and you hit them, and loot pops out. You know, depending on what you roll, depends on how good it is. But I've rolled nat 20s, and the loot's not great.
Yeah.
And then you've got like the funny humor of, for a while there I was running around with the fish. I hit people with the fish. It's a Borderlands game. I'm not like blown away by it, but it's kind of like, death saving throw. And then you go on with your life. And you fight goblins, and the humor and stuff is there, but it's not as campy and fun as like Shadow of War, when you have like the intricate orc hierarchy and try to infiltrate their masses and their ranks and shit like that. So it is kind of funny. It is kind of that, but it's a Borderlands game. If you enjoy Borderlands, you're gonna enjoy it.
Speaking of Borderlands, I hope he doesn't mind, but I used to work with somebody named Brian in Austin, and he actually is very good friends with the original voice actor who did Claptrap. So,
oh yeah, the guy that got fired after or unceremoniously let go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that was a weird situation.
Crappy, yeah. But Brian, if you're watching and or listening, I'm just putting it out there. I'm still wanting to get Claptrap on the podcast to talk to him.
First Claptrap forever.
First Claptrap. Or Claptrap if you're watching.
Randy Pickford's a dick.
Hit us up and let us talk and say hey.
No, it's a really good game. It really is good. It's kind of showing like the division between, this game is kind of showing the division between consoles now, where the PlayStation 5 got the physical copy before the Xbox One did. They kind of made a comment that Xbox One X wouldn't get the Xbox Series X upgrade for graphics and such. The physical copy wouldn't have that, only the digital as of like when it first came out, like I think it was March 29th. So that's kind of a shitty way on things. And that really kind of irritates me. It's I get the business side of it, but from a fan loving part, I kind of wish they would stop that shit. If you're gonna put on both systems, put it on all the systems. Don't just fucking say just the PS5, not the PS4. You know, shit like that. Yeah.
And bring it to the Switch.
Oh, I don't think the Switch is gonna be able to handle it. I honestly don't think it.
Hold on, didn't they do a Borderlands? There was Borderlands releases for some of the. They really expanded. I think it was only Borderlands 1 and 2. Never mind, I'm going to shut my mouth.
I do believe Borderlands 1 is on Switch, yeah, but
Yeah.
Switch is really, really fucking coming to the table with some RPGs. Like they are.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so that's one system I would not be angry. I'm always upset that they have to come out with a newer and better system. The Switch is one. I think Nintendo hit gold with the Switch. I think that they were struggling for a little bit. The Wii was getting there, but wasn't quite. When they got the Switch, it was really good. And when it first came out, there weren't that many games. And now they're expanding. I'm ready for the next version of the Switch, because that's what I keep hearing is that it can't handle some games. I wanted Resident Evil, The Village, on the Switch, and I would ask people, like, it's just there's so much there that it can't handle it. So let's go ahead, Nintendo, revamp the Switch, come out with a newer version that is stronger and capable of these awesome video games that you can make money off of.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. I'm putting it out there to you guys. Give it to me.
All right, I gotta say something. Sorry, Matt. I gotta say it. Don't listen to anything he said. You keep doing you. Don't try to. I think Nintendo needs. I think Nintendo's great. They're not spreading themselves thin. Let PlayStation, let if you haven't watched the movie, our 35 viewers and Matt, Indie Game, the movie, the documentary about Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
Tommy says it best. I don't make shit games. Let Gearbox or let those companies make those shit games. I don't care. Let them make it. I want to see Mass Effect on PlayStation 5 or on the Xbox Series 1X or Series X. Where the fuck is Xbox? Sorry, you suck at naming consoles. It's literally, I want them to own it. I want my Michael Bay games that way. I want fucking big IMAX laser explosions. That's what I want to fucking see. Switch, you keep making Triangle Strategy. You keep making Record of Lodoss Wars, D-Lit into Labyrinth. Great looking platformer. Everyone's kind of like giving like an 83 out of 100. It's a great platformer. It's fucking beautiful digital pixel art and stuff like that. A ton of the Shovel Knight. I don't know if you ever played Shovel Knight before.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's great pixel art. It's great platformers. Limited Run Games. You guys ever heard of that company? No. Limited Run Games is a bunch of nerds like ourselves who still make physical game copies.
Yes, I have heard, yeah.
They just released one, I think they just reopened it. They had Worms Armageddon for the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Classic. I mean, fuck. Keep it coming.
That's one of the things that I think Nintendo has failed at completely, utterly, and totally is just throwing old games up on the game store and just going like, look, we got this back catalog of thousands and just put them up there for, they don't even have to do the work. Literally a team on the internet of people would go like, yeah, we'll get it ready for the new platform. But there you go. Hey, thanks for the efforts, guys. Here's a contract, sign that. No, we're not going to pay you, but that was part of the deal. You knew it. You got your name on it. Goodbye. And then they'd be able to just throw it up for $2.99, $4.99, $5.99, and just play, hey, I want to play DuckTales on the Switch. I want to play the original DuckTales game from Nintendo, or the Batman game.
So
it's just criminal to lock your stuff away, in my opinion.
So Sega actually came up with, I don't know if you've played the Sega Classics on the...
Oh, I bought it 3 times for 3 different systems.
Okay,
are you kidding me?
Because Shining Force 1 and 2 is on there, and Shining the Holy Darkness is on there, and those are best RPGs of the 90s. Some of the best RPGs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Shining Force, Shining in the Darkness played all the way through probably 3 times. Shining Force 1 played through, I couldn't even tell you how many times. Then Shining Force 2, yeah. I never got to play Shining Force 3, which was on Sega CD.
Saturn.
Sega Saturn. That's why I didn't have it, because I had a Sega CD.
Well, you can't see it's my bulbous head, but that's the Dreamcast, and that would be where the Sega Saturn and Sega CD games are. And I've got Shining the Holy Ark and Shining Force 3 for the Saturn. And for the Sega CD, there was a Shining Force CD for the fucking Sega CD.
Well, I had a Sega CD, but
mine's right there. That big beautiful bitch. But Shining Force CD right now, if you want to go buy it without fucking Wata Games screwing up vintage games prices, $500.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the problem. I collector market. I hate collectors. I like them because they keep stuff alive, but I hate them because of the prices. But for Sega, by the way, I had a monster like radiation mutant of a Sega Genesis. I had the original Sega Genesis, the Sega CD, the Sega 32X, the Master System adapter. And so yeah, of course I had the Sonic and Knuckles. And then you plug the game.
Plug the game in so you can
play that's all sitting right there. The 32X is actually in a tote down here, and I don't have the Masters, even though I have a couple of most sought after Masters game, Valis or something else.
Yeah. I played the hell out of that.
Yeah, I've got a
with the water going over the bricks and the
yeah.
But talk about ingenuity and great game. The Sonic Knuckles game. the being able to open it up and put in the other Sonic games, and it imported Knuckles into the old games and opened up more world to it too. It was just amazing, and I don't know why they didn't continue with stuff like that.
Yeah, and innovation is amazing. Like, people forget, because Nintendo, I think, won a lot of the gaming culture war, but people forget how incredibly impactful and innovative. First of all, just Sonic the Hedgehog 1, yes, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2, you had a Sega cart with very limited space on it, and you managed to squeeze in not only a full single-player game, but a person could plug in a second controller, and they could play through it with you, and you could play head-to-head versions in a different game mode, and they had full 3D, with dithering, of course, but full 3D in the gem world. And then, of course, Sonic goes Super Saiyan at the end. Super Saiyan at the end. And it was in a single cart of a Sega Genesis game. You had innovation out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And then to try and they had to follow that up because it was such a popular game. And of course, the soundtrack to Sonic 2 is iconic. Whereas everyone remembers 2 songs from the entire Mario franchise, like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 are just gold. They need to do vinyl releases if they haven't already.
You want a good Sonic soundtrack. Sonic CD was a really good soundtrack.
Well,
and it had an intro animation that was beautiful, and after you beat the game, an exit animation done to beautiful music. It was, Sonic, for what it was beautiful music all around.
So you want to know why it was so popular? You could think Tom Kalinske or something like that. He was the president of Sega of America in the early '90s, and what's funny was they brought him on because Sega of Japan was popular, but they couldn't keep up with the Famicom system. They were trying to figure out how to uproot and get rid of Nintendo. And this was on the heels of right before Super Nintendo came out. And they say the Sega Genesis was just tanking in America, just tanking. And he comes in and does 3 things. He goes, I'm dropping the price. So I think it went from $399 down to $349 or $300 down to $250. He dropped it down $50. He created Sonic, and I can't remember the third thing. If you remember, throw in the comments what the third thing was. But he did 3 things. And he is the reason why everyone has a Genesis. He is the reason why we have such great fond memories of Sega Genesis and Sega. Now, the funniest thing ever he did, I don't know if you two ever heard the story of this guy. Nope.
No.
So, when the 32X failed miserably, because that was when everything was starting to go over to CD, because they had Sega CD, of course, but 3DO with Panasonic 3DO and stuff like that, and TurboGrafx and all that stuff. It was funny was he contacted Sega of Japan and said, hey, I got this development team. I want them making Saturns for America. I want them to make the Sega Saturn for America. And Sega of Japan came back and said, no, we won't do it. He's like, no, you're understanding. These fucking people are going to be great. We need them to make the Sega Saturn. And they end up leaving because Sega Japan wouldn't do it. And they went and created the PlayStation 1. He says in his interview, he's like, I had the PlayStation 1 in my fingers, and it slipped through my fingers. And you think, if that would have happened, because the direct correlation of the PlayStation 1, you could say, if you love Sega, you're like, oh man, that sucks. But if you're an Xbox fan, without that thing happening, we probably wouldn't have an Xbox today.
Yeah.
Because Sony was the reason why Bill Gates greenlighted the Xbox. I don't know if you two knew that or not.
No.
So he was, this is back again, sorry kids, this is back in the late 90s. The DirectX team were like, what do we do with this fucking amazing driver we have, DirectX? What should we do with it? So they said, well, I got an idea, let's make a console. Well, Windows CE team partnered with Dreamcast. I don't know if you guys knew that. The Dreamcast had the Windows CE on it. It says it right there, Windows CE. They had to go into. They're like, no, we're not going to build on the Dreamcast. Sega's going out of the console market. They want to make their own console. And the guys who created the first Xbox had to strip down a computer and take all the nonsense and gobbledygook off it and go to DOS and tear apart Windows. And when they sat in this meeting with Bill Gates, Windows CE versus DirectX team, the DirectX team actually had the console, had an Xbox, and said, "Let me turn it on," and it booted up, I think, in 5 seconds. And Bill Gates said, "Wait! Did you just boot up a computer in 5 seconds?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" He goes, "Why can't the rest of our computers do the same thing?" He goes, "Do it again." He made him do it multiple times. Like, how the hell did you boot this up so fast? For everyone here who wasn't born in the 80s, did have a PC in the 90s, you would turn your computer on, go make sandwiches, come back, double click your AOL or your Netscape, then go take a dump, come back, and you might be able to surf the internet at 28.8K speeds.
Yeah. I am proud to say that I have I bought that dumb Duke controller, the re-release controller for the Xbox One.
Oh God!
Bought it, got it. It's like I'm referencing a Penny Arcade strip here, but it's like holding a grizzly bear on your lap, which is an early Penny Arcade strip. And man, it's glorious. If you have massive hands, it is a glorious controller.
What's your favorite console, DeHoffer? Like, out of all the consoles ever created, what is your favorite console?
That is tough. I have to say, overall, it has to be the original Nintendo, just because before that I had the Atari, and that was something that we pulled out for special occasions because that was a beast to hook up to the TV and play, and it was just so... It was great for its time before the Nintendo came, but it was very basic. And then the Nintendo came, and that was my childhood, was the Nintendo system. And then nowadays, it really is the Switch. When it first came out, I wasn't impressed by it. I tried the Nintendo Wii, and that went to the wayside for me. But then Switch came out, and they just keep giving me more and more. And with it, old school stuff. Be able to play Super Bash Brothers and Mario Kart on the Switch is just, there's nothing else compared.
By the way, friends, he doesn't play those games with his friends. He plays himself by himself because a friend bought those games to play with his friend, and his friend decided to move to Missouri and say he packed his shit away. So, just want to throw that out there. No smart ass remark.
I will get it out. We will race on the Rainbow Bridge, and I will crush your ass.
Whoa, hold on. Nothing about that last sentence is permissible in schools or in daytime television.
99% of the shit we say.
I promise you, I will get it out, and I will take your ass down the Rainbow Bridge. And I will smash your ass? Is that the end of the sentence?
Yes.
Do you hear me complain?
No, I'm I'm an observer.
What about you, Matt? What's your console? Like, what's your favorite console?
I used to consider myself very much kind of I was primarily a PC guy.
Okay.
Once I left Sega and the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast, which, by the way, the Dreamcast, because it was running Windows, was a fantastic platform to pirate games on. Because you could rent them, and if you had a CD copier, you just make a copy, and then, yeah, exactly. But I was a PC guy, primarily. We were doing, like, LAN parties with Red Alert and Red Alert 2, and the first the first and second Warcraft.
Warcraft 1, horrible. Warcraft 2, probably arguably one of the best games ever.
Absolutely. I was at the time in the household the guy that discovered that sheep would explode if you clicked them too many times. This is all, folks, kids, you don't understand, all right? The internet was in its nascent form at this point. Finding anything was impossible until maybe after GameFAQs.com launched. But before that, you had to discover clicking a sheep would make it explode on your own. You had to find the cow level yourself.
Moo.
Okay. So after I got it, was all PC and a lot of first-person shooters. I was a big first-person shooter fan on the PC, and never really considered myself a console person until, I started getting carpal tunnel real bad, and that mouse and keyboard action. And I'm a video editor as well, by the way. And mouse and keyboard action is not fun. So I don't have a tendency to use a mouse and keyboard with a lot of games these days, unless they're like non-first person shooters where I can be like, oh, it's a puzzle game, or it's the Stanley Parable, or it's something where I'm not having to constantly be wrists on foam.
King's Quest.
Yeah. Sam and Max, point and click adventures. Would you like to see my wrist rests? They're bread. Okay.
No. No, my favorite console. My favorite console. Uh-oh. My favorite console is the Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast. Everything you just spoke, everything you just spitted, hit me in the face in a glorious manner. The reason why I love the Dreamcast was it was revolutionary. It had a built-in modem, 4-player ports, which only before that did you get that in like the game. The Nintendo 64, which is sitting right there. I love the
Dreamcast Unreal Tournament.
Unreal Tournament, but actually Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That was my jam.
Of course, that's a great game.
Yeah, but when you talk about like the best shooter game, couch co-op shooter game that we loved was a game called Toy Commander, where you flew around. If you don't know this game exists, you're going to be upset at yourself. Go look it up. It's a puzzle platformer where a little kid's imagination is he flies around these little toys, and you have to like do these little puzzle quests in the game in his house. Like the dollhouse is on fire, and you have to do all these little things to make the water hit like a Rube Goldberg device. All these fun little puzzle quests. That part of the game is absolutely great. Blah blah. Nothing revolutionary. It was the multiplayer aspect with the 4-way split screen, and if you were a car and there was airplanes, you had to make a house rule. You can't be in an airplane if everyone's going cars. And because cars had there's teleporters, you can drive up the walls and on the ceiling, you can hide under furniture. So you'd be sitting there under what is it, like a piece of furniture, like a couch or something, and then you see your friends kind of driving around, flying around looking for you, right? And it was gasoline. You had to fill up your freaking plane with gasoline, otherwise you went really slow. Anyways, long story short, what happened there? Oh, we're watching something.
I don't know if we can do that or not.
Oh, I did it. Yep.
I don't know if you can share that.
I'm sharing it right now. Everyone's seeing all its glory. Great. You know what you just did? You just made my job 10 times harder because now DeHoffrin has got a new expectation for us. So thanks. Thank you, Matt. Always a pleasure.
For those in the audio version, we are streaming some video of the game Toy Commander Sega Dreamcast in HD. There's an airplane pushing an egg, and that's the only way I can come these days.
Are you playing
very
this?
Specific fetishes. No. This is just this is just some YouTube.
But when it was that little circle you see right there, that's where if you shot something with the missile and you kept your buddy in that circle, the actual, what is it called? They were homing missiles. So yeah, it's
Yeah. It looks great. Looks well put together. I like it. It actually, in a strange way, it kind of looks like a lot of the reductive gameplay, or not reductive, but retro design gameplay of like some modern games that I can't remember the names of, like maybe not Human Fall Flat, but maybe Kill It With Fire, or I don't know.
No, this is an episode of Reboot, the original.
Oh, man, this looks 10
whenever-
times better than Reboot. The polygon count is through the roof compared to Reboot.
Whenever the GameCube lands and they have to fight the user.
The equivalent of Reboot is those Beyond the Mind's Eye laser discs and VHSs you used to be able to buy, which would just show you examples of 3D, and you'd be like, "Oh man, nothing can ever look better than this! It's a shiny silver Tyrannosaur."
Yeah, you actually have to turn the knobs on now and make the fire go and boil the eggs now. This is what's so funny. Like, I guess he's doing his chores.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. That's fun.
And that game is 20 years old. That's 22 years old. That's 2000, 1999. It's not hard to find. You can go buy it. It's not super expensive, like $20. You can emulate it, whatever. Because like you said, Sega Dreamcast was pretty easily stolen. But what was it called? The Dreamcast is the best console just for all the reasons of that. And then they actually came out with a keyboard for the Dreamcast.
I played Typing of the Dead.
Yep, Typing of the Dead.
Dreamcast.
Now, the best RPG I've ever played is on the Sega Saturn, and that's Shining Force 3. That's my absolute favorite RPG. And PC-wise,
I need to play it. I just need to emulate it.
Sega Saturn's a little tough, but if you can emulate it, you go, boy, and then get Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Well, oh yeah.
I will argue with you though. That is a very good shooter game, playing against people, but the best fighting against other people game, GoldenEye.
Oh no.
Hold on. That is a very popular choice of shooters, of multiplayer. I'm not going to blame anyone for liking it.
Yeah, Apex Legends is also a popular choice, and that game's fucking hot garbage.
Honestly, the best shoot 'em up kind of multiplayer, friends killing each other in a room experience I've ever had, beyond something standard like Halo, was a game called Crimson Skies. Which was on Xbox. It was on Xbox. I was about to say Xbox 3. No, Xbox. And it was just World War II biplanes and World War II planes, but they all had, kind of wacky technology, and we used to dogfight in those things for hours. Great game.
No,
but talking about another one that people aren't, like, I wasn't familiar. I've never heard of this game. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with Toy Commander.
Oh no, Dreamcast was the best console in my opinion for no matter what. I mean, it still holds up today. It's that good of a console. I mean, it still has some of the most popular games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That game has been emulated once, or that game has been ported once to the Xbox 360 and quickly taken off because they couldn't do it. And I don't even know they can get the licensing agreements anymore for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's also because it's the only one that has Cyclops. You can play as Cyclops. And I will wax that ass with Cyclops.
And then, of course, on the Dreamcast, you could also play Shenmue if you wanted to play a really in-depth game where you can run a forklift for 12 hours.
Oh, no. Your favorite game is probably Seaman, isn't it?
Oh, no.
You know what game I'm talking about, Seaman?
Yeah, it's the simulator. It's not. It's a Tamagotchi. It's a Tamagotchi and I know the one.
Let's find it because you have now made my job a lot harder. He's gonna expect this now. Seaman gameplay.
Oh no, I got you covered here.
Oh, here we go.
This is why you guys need a producer here who can look this
Oh
stuff
yeah,
up
thanks
for you.
again. You know, it's not like we're.
I got like 3 screens here, so yeah. So Seaman, let me turn up the volume here.
You were born in October?
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's try that again.
So if you've ever seen Life of Brian, the fish face people should be not Life of Brian. The Meaning of Life. This
Meaning of Life.
personally.
You were born in October?
Yes.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Treat.
When you go to retro
Like
game
the
cons,
spice.
yeah, finding this game is not super easy.
Yes.
It's not hard, but not
Well,
super easy
you
either.
can look, but don't touch.
I don't want to touch you.
Day is your birthday on.
So
Must be a
you would
Libra.
keep this guy alive, and you would talk to him, and you could. If I remember, you could kill him. If I remember correctly. Let me find out what was the deal. What was the gameplay of Seaman?
You hit the nail
I
on the
thought
head.
it
It's
was
just
just
Tamagotchi.
Just
Yeah.
to talk to him and feed him, and but that was the big draw about it. Was one of the first games that you could actually. It had a little microphone, and you were actually talking to this stupid little fish
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, what a bizarre game. Oh yes, that's right. The narrator was Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, Spock.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember I used to walk to work because I didn't have a car. I worked in a mall. I sold family photos, looked like a Bible salesman, all to save up money to get my Dreamcast. And it's probably one of the best collections of games I have is the Dreamcast one. And I mean, now I've got adult money, so like the Switch and the Xbox One and stuff like that's getting up there. But yeah,
Is that adult money or giant child money? Because that's what I consider mine to be.
I consider adult money because I have to do adult things to get that money, not giant child things. I would love to get giant child money, but no, it's adult money. I'm unfortunately an adult. Well, it's yeah, it's one of those ones like this LCD TV. The reason why I keep it is it still supports S video, and I still have my retro CRT, there, so yeah, I'm definitely a retro guy, and that is a light gun in box with manual, the original light gun.
So, just looking at this, so they built a whole hoax website called MeetSeaman.com, where they have a whole bunch of really oh no, it's not live anymore. I'm using the Internet Archive Wayback Machine to view the website as it looked in the year 2000. October 18th, 2000 is from when this snapshot is. In case you guys don't know it, you want to find websites that are gone, the Wayback Machine at the Internet Archive. Donate to them. They are preserving history. So yeah, was the Sphinx built to honor Seaman?
Is it called the Wayback Machine?
Yeah, the Wayback Machine's the Internet Archive Wayback Machine. They archive the internet because no one else is doing it. They've been doing it for a long time. Since about 99, 98.
I've got it pulled up. I'm gonna look at this. But yeah.
So you can go find websites that are long gone now. Like go to the old Game Informer site, see what they were doing.
Talking about
386 processor, too much?
Oh yeah. Well, I think. Oh, good. Whoops.
It's not the Wayback Machine, but did you know the original website for Space Jam when the first movie came out is still up and running?
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
Is Angel Fire still up and running?
I don't think so. But you can find it.
That thing has got to be riddled with AIDS and stuff like that. That and like MySpace.
We can go find a web ring and start going down the rabbit hole of sites.
Oh yeah, I remember. I still have like pictures from back when in the early 2000s. I still have, like you said, there was no game codes or whatever. You had to go game facts. I remember copying and pasting that into a notepad so I can have it.
Yeah,
You know?
or just printing it out from the library so you can use it at home.
I remember my second edition D&D characters were put on dot matrix printers and still using that. Yeah. Which next time we got some Dungeons and Dragons stuff to talk about too. So
I was a freshman in high school, and a friend of mine, for my birthday in my freshman year of high school, printed out porn. Printed out on a black and white printer. On a low resolution black and white printer. Printed me out pornography. And he put it in a school binder. And he gave it to me. And he was like, here you go. And kids, so back in the day, porn was harder to get. Your computer would be located in a family section of a home.
Yeah.
In the kitchen or the living room, like the telephone that was plugged into the wall. Yes, it's true. We're not lying to you.
And it had age restrictions on it that actually worked, not this new bypass and click. You had to actually prove you were over 18 to get to these things. So finding porn on the interweb before you were 18 was, you were digging.
Kids.
The number 2 way that most people found porn was in the woods.
That is a true statement. It's sad, but that is true. But kids, you D&D folks out there, you don't know how good you have D&D games good, because I had we love the SSI books. And Warcraft 2 and SSI and those old 90s games, piracy was so bad, randomly the game would say, before you could play, what's the third word on page 5 of the manual? And you're like, shit. If you go to Good Old Game, and now Steam has it, they have the SSI collections. You can still download. It still comes with the pinwheel on the SSI. They don't have Pool of Radiance yet, which is a great Dungeons & Dragons game. They definitely have the old SSI games. That will make you appreciate whatever edition you're playing right now, going back playing old 2nd edition.
Yeah, they made the same mistake with Leisure Suit Larry, where it's like, this game is not worth me having to look in the manual to tell you something.
I thought that was your favorite
terrible.
game of all time.
Only when I'm drunk. And the secret is, like the Hulk, I'm drunk all the time.
Well, I think that's going to have to do us for tonight. We've definitely got over just by a smidge. Not by a lot, but we went over. I think we're at a good stopping point. Unless you want to talk about something else to Hoffren that's like super.
No, we're good. We can save it all for next time.
Thanks for joining us. You've been listening / watching to The Party Gains Experience.
Bye.